This clearly shows there should be over 2.5 goals between Tottenham and Newcastle in the game. As we can see in terms of time periods, there should be a really, really good probability of having goals later in the game. And there was. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to get the probability of a goal every 15-minute period. Okay, so recently I made a video about how to build a POISSON distribution model in Excel. Thank you very much for all the support on that. But I've had a few messages either from that video or from the Discord. And if you're not part of Discord, here it is. Literally, I'll put a link for it in the channel again. Basically, I'll show you tip of the day. I'll show you day by day what I do for every single game. Obviously, we made a loss yesterday, but that was our first loss in quite a while. And we're currently £2,470 up in 15 days. So join that if you want. I'll put the link to this in the description of the video and also in the comments. But back to the point. Some people in the Discord messaged me either privately or there, and also some comments of the video basically asking me how I tried to progress the POISSON distribution model that we're using here, and essentially now I've managed to work out every 15-minute period what the probability of a goal being scored is. So as you can see here yesterday, it was quite high, 57%. This is before the game. Obviously, I've not updated it since then. So odds of 1.75 after 75 minutes for a goal to be scored, which is pretty good in Tottenham Newcastle. If we go and check the game, so if we go here and I type in sofa score and we open it up, we will see that if I go to yesterday, so Sunday the 10th, then we'll see here, once it loads, Tottenham versus Newcastle. On the side here, it should open. Give it 3 weeks. So as you can see here, now that it has loaded, you can't really see very well, but Son scored 85, and then up here, 91, Callum Wilson scored. So 2 goals were scored later in the game as we expected. 60th minute, so that's going to lie in 61 to 75 roughly by the time you load it. Again, we expected a good chance of a goal being scored. 31 to 45, we thought a good chance of a goal being scored in that one as well, but open the right one. There you go, 38, and then 26 minutes. We didn't really expect one in that time period, but that's not the end of the world. We still had a rough estimation of when we expected goals to be scored. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I was able to make this. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the demo one that we made in the last YouTube video. I'm going to go from there, and I'm going to show you step by step how we can do this. Let's go. So if you remember, this is where we finished off last time. I think I've changed the game over to Leon versus Mets, whatever. But this is what we finished with last time. I don't know why dashboard. Yes, the odds, whatever. Yeah, cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the 15-minute time period from here. So the way that I do this, if we go to soccerstats.com again, the same as what we did last time. But if we go to England, that'll be the easiest. Go to the Premier League. Basically, what we're going to do for this is you want to try and see if we can predict like the time periods. Okay, so what you can see is we can take these sort of things in here. So the first thing that we want to take in is this bit right here. So see where it has like this 11%, 14.8, 14.4. So if we take these values, and I'll just open the Excel spreadsheet alongside it. Yeah, so this is the one off the Newcastle versus Tottenham game of yesterday. Obviously, this is slightly changed because there was 5 games yesterday, 4 games yesterday that obviously like haven't been taken into account. So these ones like here were all yesterday. So obviously that's distorted the values a little bit, but see it's almost exactly the same. So that's obviously where we're getting the data from. So the first thing we want to do is read in this thing. The next thing that we want to read in is this team specific percentages of like times of goals scored. So to do this, you want to go to statistics and goals per 15 minute. This is kind of confusing though, because you have to really go through it, but let me show you once this opens up, because it'll change in a second once the page loads fully. You'll get all these go into one thing. There you go. So you can see here we've got all 3 of them. We're just going to use the total, I think, it's probably the easiest. And you can see by this, there's the goals scored and then conceded. So it's kind of hard to do a bit of manipulation with that, but it's quite easy to do. So this is the sort of things that we're going to need, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do that league-specific one. So if we go back to the homepage of the Premier League, we'll be able to read that in. So the same method as we did last time. So we're going to go back to Excel, predictor from scratch. This is the one we made. And I'm going to make a new one just called 15 mins period or something like that, okay? And obviously, if we unhide, I think we should have the, which one do we need? URL page. Perfect. What we're going to do is we're going to add a new URL in there. So we're going to copy this table again. I'm just going to have URL. We're going to make this into another table. Problem is, I've put you right in the way of how I get to the insert part. There you go. Perfect. Insert, and then make this into a table. Table has headers, perfect. But this time the URL that we need, we're going to obtain from here again. So we're going to go to here, and we should see, you can't see it on your screen, but we're going to just take this bit here, okay? And then we're just going to go back to here. So just copy that URL off the home page, and we're just going to do exactly the same here. So we're going to copy this bit over. I'm going to paste it in there. Sorry, I did that the wrong order. And then we'll go here. We're going to copy that. Then I'm going to go to here. I'm going to paste it in there. I'll show you why in a second. Because we need to just change that league equals whatever. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just change this over now. So we're going to, that'll be already copied. So we'll go up to this bit. And we're just going to get rid of that much. And there you go. We'll just pop that into here. That should copy the perfect thing we need. Get rid of league equals England because that'll just do the league as we need it, like that. Perfect. And then if we just run that page just to make sure it's definitely working, let's see if it opens up. Perfect. There you go. So then what we're going to do is the same. Obviously, if you're not seeing the last video, I'd suggest watching the last video before you get started with this one. So then we got our new URL in there. So now again, what we're going to do again is we're going to highlight that. We're going to go data and we're going to go get from table. Same as what we normally do. Again, let that load because I've got so much open here. This might run a little bit slower. But there you go. The Power Query editor has opened again. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly the same as what we did with the other ones. So if we go to, remember, if you can't remember the formulas, we can just go to, say, table 6. And if we go to view and we go to advanced editor, then what we're going to do is we're going to obtain this stuff. Just copy this over. And then we're going to go to table 9, which is the one we just opened. Advanced editor, and we're going to do the exact same thing, but remember to change that table 6 to table 9 in there. And now if we press done, what we should see is we're going to this web page, so we should get all the tables that are on this web page, but we clearly want this one here, the goal times per 15 minutes for the whole league, but we're only really interested in this little bit here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to here, and the goals by 15-minute segment, perfect. So we're going to press on that one, make sure it's the right one. Excellent. And remember, we're going to right click on there and we're going to press add as new query. And then now that's called data for there. So I'm going to press save and go back to the home. I'm going to press close and load in there. And then perfect. Now I can close down the URL page, I think, and that one. Perfect. Well, I'll leave the URL open just for now. But there you go. Now we get this, which should obviously be updated for every single league because that URL will change depending on what we're going to go for. So that's user dashboard M1. And as you can see, user dashboard, we've selected England in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to extract that for every single thing. So 15-minute period obviously currently is blank, but we want it to look like this sort of format, like this. So obviously what I've got here is I've got home, away. Obviously these can be just obtained from the page before. So A2 to B2, we're just going to obviously put as home and away. Probably do it as A1 and B1 here. So just do home, away. Obviously the home team is going to equal dashboard this one here, dashboard A1, and the away team is going to equal dashboard B1. But remember, I think we changed that last time in there just for the example. We typed it in ourselves, so we just need equals text split. We want this comma like that, and then obviously it'll say spill, get rid of Newcastle, and then you should have your teams in there. So now it should say Forest versus Villa. Perfect. So now again, if we open this up just for reference, what do we have now? So we want our mean league scored, mean league conceded. Okay, so we're just going to copy them over, just that ourselves. Obviously you can just type this, but I'm going to be lazy and put that in there. Perfect. And this is just really easy. So this just equals X lookup. And obviously we want our time period. So what we're going to do here is, actually I'm going to move them along one to E. And then in here we're just going to put period. And obviously the first period that we want is 0 to 15. Then we want 16 to 30. I should say 1 to 15 because you can't score in the 0th minute. But oh dear me, you have to format all of these in here. I'm just going to format as text. So now if I do 1 to 15, it should stay. There you go. 16 to 30, 31 to 45, 46 to 60, 61 to 75, and 76 to 90 in there. And they should all be as text. Where's text? There you go. Perfect. Then it just means we're not getting rid of it if we don't need to. Now what we're going to do in here for the mean league scored, obviously it's going to be the same for the whole league. We're not going to split into home and away. It's just a bit easier. It's going to do X lookup. I want this period, comma, and then if we go to data 4 that we need, then obviously we can see them in this column. So we're going to go column 1, comma, and we want column D. So hopefully now that should give us, so that's NA, okay? So what we want is, well, 1 to 15 needs to match the type of this. Sorry, it is 0 to 15. That's why I'm an absolute idiot. So we'll change that to 0 to 15. Then we get 11%. Obviously, if I then drag that all the way down, then we get it in there. Perfect. And then what I'm going to do, this just equals E2. But instead of doing that, I'm just going to absolute value this all the way down. And I'll show you why. Because obviously, we want, for the whole league, we're just going to keep it all the same value. So we have an idea roughly of what the league is. And then we're just going to drag that all the way along. All the way along. I'll tell you why it's breaking in a minute. It's not really a big issue. I should have absolute valued the things, but that's not a big deal. We'll typically actually, what we'll do, this will be a bit easier. The A's are going to absolute value that, so it should say A, and then we're going to do the same for the D in there. We're going to absolute value, so FN, and then so F4 function F4 gets it as an absolute value in there. The D, what we'll do is we'll keep the D absolute, but we're going to change the 2 as we go. So now if I drag that down again, it should do that. And then if I go along, there you go, perfect. Now we've got everything that we need, because obviously it's the same for everything in the league. As you can see in the one here, that's exactly what I've got roughly. Okay, now what we're going to do is we need the team specific one. So this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. So if we open this back up, we want to go to statistics and we want to go to goals per 15-minute period in there. And we want to just read the total, because I feel like doing it home and away, there's not really enough games for that in there or anything. So what we're going to do is we are going to get the URL. So again, get the URL from the top. Going to open this back up in there. I'm going to go to the URL page. I'm going to do the exact same thing. So URL, and then we're going to put this one just down here so you have an idea what it looks like. And then we'll just copy this over again. So we want that. Put that in there, and then we're going to go insert that as a table. Table has headers, okay. And then we can have a look and compare it. So league equals England in there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this in there. Obviously, it should already be copied. Copy that there. And we want to put that into this bit here inside the speech marks, and then we'll update it in a minute. So, oh, I've done it wrong. It's actually Control and X that in there because we don't need it anymore anyway. So that'll just do cut rather than copy. We're just going to paste that in there. Obviously, the league equals England is where we want that and dashboard thing. So we're going to get rid of all of this. We're going to Control X. And then we're going to put that at the end in the speech marks just here. But we don't need the England bit anymore in there. And that should give us that. So if I run that now, hopefully, there you go, it opens the page that we want it to open, which is absolutely perfect. So if we go back in here then, now we've got that again, we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to select that, and then we're going to go to data, then we're going to go to from table. Again, I can't be bothered to do it from scratch, so we're going to go here, we're going to go view, advanced editor, then we're going to copy that, and we're going to paste it over to page 12, advanced editor. And we want that instead of 9 to get changed to 12. Press, oh dear me, press done. Now this is a bit more complicated, so we need to be really careful reading this one. So that's the league table, so we don't want that one. Here we go. This one, I think this is the one that we need. So if I open it up, total Aston Villa. Okay. Aston Villa 6 and then 5. Where are these? Okay, I need to see where these numbers are coming from. And I'm an absolute muppet because that's last season's data. I don't know how I've managed to get last season's data, but this literally includes Southampton and stuff. So I'm going to quickly go and change that in there. So we can close this down. And we're going to discard all changes. And then I need to see why I've got last year's data in there, because that's not ideal. I think open this up, we'll see if this brings up last year's. Luton, Liverpool. Okay, so then now I need to see why we're getting the wrong data in there. That's strange. If I do that as a table again, and we're going to take that in there, we're going to go to view, advanced editor, we're going to copy it over, and then we're going to go to table 12, advanced editor. We'll see why if this happens again. Hopefully now we should get the actual data because it definitely should take us to the right data set. No, why is it doing that? Because that is 100% last year's data, unless I open this. This could be Leeds Leicester. That is strange. Okay, so after checking the old data, apparently did the same for that data, but it ended up working out fine because I literally can get Luton. So obviously Luton wouldn't be in that data set. So I'll do the same as what we did and see what happens with it in there. I don't know why that's happened. That's strange. But then we'll do the same in there. Obviously, we're going to go again. Probably be quite bored at this point. I do apologize. That was just a strange one in there. So advanced editor. Copy this. Table 12, advanced editor. And press done. Then we get this, perfect, and it should be the second one down, even though it is wrong, but we'll see what happens. Add as new query. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we are going to press home, and then close and load in there. Hopefully we can get the actual right data in there now. There you go. Now, so for some reason, the preview showed that having Leicester, Southampton, etc., but we have actually got Luton in this data set. I have no idea why that happened, but we're going to hide table 12, hide table 9, but we're going to keep data number 5 open. And now we don't need that URL anymore, so we can hide that as well. Now what we need to do, 15-minute time period, if we go back to the one we're doing an example from, now we have scored home and away, conceded home and away, attacking strength. We're going to just copy that over it as well, make it a bit easier. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do for that in there. So that should come straight after this. So scored home / away. Obviously, it doesn't actually matter home / away in this instance, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So scored for the specific home team is basically Forest's average goals scored. So that's going to be the average number of goals Forest score in the first 50 minutes as a percentage of all the total goals scored. But obviously we can't do that straight away just given the data in this format. So now what we need to do, and this is when it gets a little bit confusing, is we're going to go over to here and we're going to have to reformat the data in some sense, okay? So you can see here we've got 0 to 15, 16 to 30, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have 0 to 15 scored. Oh dear me, what am I doing? 0 to 15 scored. And then we want 0 to 15 conceded, etc. all the way along, so we can copy that in there. We want this to change to conceded. And then we'll do the exact same. So we're going to copy that over. So that now, as you can see, 0 to 15 scored all the way to 76 and 90. But we're just going to make all of these as big as we can, just so we can actually read them all. Again, a very fun job for you to sit and watch. There you go, perfect. Now all we're going to do is this basically is going to equal text split, and we're going to split the text over here. So that'll be 0 to 15. I'm going to split it by the dash in there, and that should hopefully do 2 and 3. And there you go, perfect. Then what we're going to do is we're going to copy that all the way down like that. So you can see this in here, 2, 3, yada yada yada. Then 16 to 30, we're going to do the exact same. So, but then rather than doing date to 15, so we're going to just copy that over. I'm going to put that in here. Put that in all of them for the scored and conceded. And what we'll do is we'll just change the names over in there. So obviously in this one, rather than having 0 to 15, we're going to have 16 to 30 in there. Then this one should be 31 to 45. This one should be 46 to 60. And then 61 to 75 and 76 to 90. Perfect. Then all we're going to do now is just, obviously for all of these, we're just going to copy them all the way down. So do that for that one, for that one. Should be getting an idea roughly of goals and scored and conceded per team. Obviously this is. There you go, perfect. So now what we're going to do is we've got an idea of the number of goals scored and conceded per 15-minute time period, but we also want to know how many goals in total. So total goals scored. We're going to do that as TGS, total goals scored, and total goals conceded. And obviously, this is going to be like very easy to work out because this is just equals the sum of every other column. So I'm going to just do that, all along. Obviously, not stupid. And there you go. So that should equal 0. That's perfect. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm an absolute muppet. Let me just fix that. So the reason it won't work is we need to convert all of these just to values essentially. So it's very, very easy to do. What we're going to do is we're just going to copy this over, and I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to copy all of this data, and we're essentially going to do this. So copy just the title, put that in AB, so we've got a gap, and then literally all we're going to do is just equals value, and then O2, and then literally if we just copy that all the way down to there, and then all the way along to here, then we should have it all in there. So it should finish 887. Perfect. So now, if I have TGS, TGC, total goals scored and conceded, now it should just equal the sum. I'm going to do every other one. So AB, AD, AF, AH, AJ. You get the picture. So Arsenal's total goals scored should be 33. Drag that all the way down. And if we do thinking that along, it should do the conceded as well. So as you can see here, that's going to do all the other ones. And if we drag that all the way down again, Tottenham, Arsenal should have scored 33 and conceded 50. And let's just double check to make sure that's right. So if we go to here, we can see Arsenal's, the goal difference isn't there, but you can see in here, Arsenal anyway. 12 plus 21 is obviously 33, and 9 plus 6 is obviously 15. So we know that it is accurate in there, which is absolutely perfect. So now all we need to do is get the percentages. So then what we're going to do is just copy this again. But this time, we just want to have percentages. So then technically you can add it yourself. I'm not going to add percentages myself because I can't be bothered. But this just equals basically that divided by that. And we get it as a percentage, 0.06. So 6% of Arsenal's goals are scored in the first 15 minutes. It's literally as easy as that. Perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do that all the same again, and we're going to just drag it along. But obviously what I might do is I might just absolute value this AO, and I'll show you why in a second. And then we're going to drag that down, and then we're going to drag this. Oh, I'm an idiot. Obviously that AO2 doesn't need to be absolute value, just the AO that we need. Perfect. And now this should change in there. We're going to drag this all the way along. But obviously now the conceded ones are going to be wrong, so we're going to select all the conceded cells. So press Control when you're highlighting everything. You can highlight multiple at the same time. And if you keep doing this, conceded, conceded. Now what we're going to do is going to press Control F, and we're going to replace AO with AP, because AO is total goals scored, AP total goals conceded. So I press replace all in there. There you go, perfect. So Arsenal, so you can say AO and AP, so that should be Arsenal's goals in the 15 minutes conceded divided by total goals conceded. We get them as percentages. And then now what we need to do, now we've got everything we need. So now we go back to here. Now I can do scored home for Forest in the first 15 minutes equals X lookup. And we want to look up the value, so it's Nottingham Forest. I want to look that up in data 5. And the section Forest are going to be in is going to be A, because you can see here Forest is there. And we want to return the value in cell AR15. We get Forest, 35% of Forest goals being scored in the first 15 minutes, which is absolutely crazy. Just double check that's definitely right. Yeah, wow, that's amazing. So Forest have scored 17 goals in total, and of those 17, 6 have been scored in the first 15 minutes, which is absolutely crazy. But obviously then we can just do the exact same thing again for Villa. But obviously we're going to just copy that over in there. I'm going to change this to B2, and then you get Aston Villa's. But this is going to be a little bit annoying now, because now obviously we're going to copy that over. We're going to have keep our A2, B2, keep them both in there. I'm going to drag that down, but you'll realize the problem in a minute. It's going to be a bit annoying. All going to be exactly the same. Obviously, we have AR, so the next one is going to be AT. Because obviously, if you remember in here, if you go back to here, it's going to be R, T, V, X, Z, B are going to be the scored, and then AS, AU conceded. So it's going to be quite confusing, but we're going to do QRS, T, and then U, so it's V, W, so it's X, Y, so it must be Z, and then A, so it must be BB. Okay? Hopefully you understood what I was talking about there. So now BB should be the last column for scored. There you go, perfect. And then it should be exactly the same in there. So what we're going to do is you could just copy that over for all of them, but we're just going to change that. So it should go R, and then obviously this now becomes T, V, X, Z, BB, BB. Perfect. Now for conceded, it's going to be exactly the same as what we just saw here. And in here, except now it's the opposite. So now QRS, so we need AS as the first one in there. Then we're going to go every 2 from S. I know that sounds quite confusing, but now it starts at, then we need SU all the way to the end, okay? So we're going to drag this all the way down and drag it all the way down. But now it goes S, U, V, W, Y, and we want AA, and sorry, AA, I'm lying, it's not AA, we want BA, and then we want BC. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you in there. Can do it by hand if you want, but I can't be bothered going there and doing every single X lookup, so we'll just do the same in here. So S, U, oh, that's a Y, W, Y, BA, BA, BC, BC. Double check that Villa should be conceding 0.2 goals in the last 15 minutes. So if we're going to double check, let's have a look. Actually, I don't need to go on that. What I'm doing. There you go, Villa. Second team in there, 0.2, 0.15. And the scored 0.2. I don't know why I said, yeah, 0.2, 0.15, 0.2, 0.15. Perfect. So now we've got everything that we need in there. So now all we need to do is just compare them to get the attacking strength the same way we did for the goals to be scored. Okay, so attacking strength of Forest in there, we can do immediately. So we can just do attacking strength is equals that divided by the league average. So they're really good in the first 50 minutes compared to everyone else. And we're just going to copy that all the way down. And then we literally can just do the exact same thing here. So we can just copy that all the way along. Copy that down, and copy that down. So you should see Villa in the last 50 minutes score a bit less than the average for the league because it's less than 1. That's how it works. So for example, Villa are better in this period than the rest of the league, as you can see here. They score 25% of their goals compared to 14% of the league averages in there, exactly as you would expect. So as you can see, the next thing that we need to copy over from this one is mean goals. We're just going to copy this in here. Just do mean goals. And we're going to put that into here. Mean goals, I'm going to put it in this one here. I've also just realized I'm going to move everything down 1, and you'll see why in a minute. Just because it just makes life a hell of a lot easier. So I'm going to copy all this all the way along. Control X. I'm going to go move all. Sorry, I'm lying to you. I'm going to move all this stuff down 1, not the titles. Down just to this one, because it'd be a lot easier to see in here if we could just have the home and the away team. It makes it a lot easier to tell what we're looking for. Just because, yeah. There you go, Villa, and we want Forest attacking strength. Then we just know what we're referencing, and it makes it a hell of a lot easier rather than just having no idea what you're looking at. Perfect. And now for mean goals, I can do the same again. So equals A2 equals B2. Perfect. So looking for the mean number of goals. But obviously, to do that first, we need to get the expected percentage of a goal happening in that half. So remember when we did our oh, now to get rid of this, perfect. When we did this bit in here, the dashboard, to work out the probability, the average number of goals each team were expected to score, which is this bit here, we just did the attacking strength times by the other team's defensive strength times by the average. So we're going to do exactly the same in here. So if we go to 50-minute period, I'm going to hide data and data 5 just for simplicity. So if we go to 50-minute period, so Forest just equals their attacking strength times by Villa's defensive strength times by the league average. So it's 11%. So the percentage number of goals Forest expect to score in this game is 64%, whatever, okay? It'll make more sense in due course, but what we're going to do is we're going to copy that all the way down in there. And then for Villas is going to equal their attacking strength times Forest defensive strength times by, again, the league average is going to be exactly the same, but in there like that. There you go. But what you should see in here is if we do the sum of all this, equals roughly 1. I mean, it's not exactly 1, but it should equal roughly in the vicinity of 1. So it's the percentage per se of how many goals they're going to score in that time period. So now obviously we are missing one thing. If we want the mean number of goals, we need to times this by the mean thingy. So what we're going to do in here is we're going to show the mean number of goals both teams expect to score. And this can easily be obtained from the dashboard page, A2, and obviously that means it will follow along to this. So we expect Forest to score, let's say, 2 goals, and Villa to score 0.73 based off our averages. Okay, so that's what we expect them to score. And that means in here, really easily, all we can do now is going to times that by the expected number of goals. So we expect, 20% of their goals to be scored in this time period. Well, actually, let's see what it was again. 64% in this time period, and therefore we expect them to score 1.93 goals in total. That means that we expect them to score, absolute value, 1.2 goals in this time range, okay? And we copy that all the way down. And then this one, we're going to times that by B3, an absolute value B3 in there. So now we have the expected number of goals. So we expect the Forest to score a total of just over 2 goals in the game. And this should roughly be the exact same as the number of goals we expect to score. Maybe a slightly larger and slightly less in some areas. So if we do the sum, this should be roughly around 2. And this should equal roughly, what was Villa's? Yeah, 0.7. Yeah, so it's roughly in the vicinity. It's slightly off, but it's always going to be. So that's how we can work out the expected number of goals. In this game, funnily enough, if we actually go and check what the score was, because this was made before that game even happened. So it was played on the 5th. Forest versus Villa actually finished 2-0 Forest, which is absolutely mad. But go on the 5th minute and the 47th. Let's have a look. It's the wrong one. Wow, so there you go. So the time periods with the Forest to score more goals was the 0 to 15th and 46 to 60. And that is literally when they scored both of their goals. So that's mad, because this obviously was made. This is obviously made a bit afterwards, but this bit was made before, and we still expect the Forest to score 2 goals and Villa to score less than 1. So now what we're going to do, because this has not been updated since then, but obviously these ones have just been updated now. I hope that helps so far, but we have a little bit more left to do. Probably some waffling a bit here because it's kind of hard to work on it as I'm going. But now we want to work out the probability of each team not scoring a goal, essentially, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to here and over here, we'll make it a bit smaller now. We're going to have equals A2 equals B2 in there, the teams. And we're going to have, so I'll copy that Aston Villa bit and I'll put it over to the side in a minute. I'm going to put goals, probability. Then in here, I want to put period. Actually, I'll put period. Period just here. Oh my days, if I can type. And goals and probability again, I want them over here. And I want B2 in there for Villa. I'm going to do 0. Because obviously the period is going to be the same as these ones. So we'll drag them all the way down. There you go, 76 and 90. And if you put 0 for all of them, then we'll copy that over for Villa as well. In there, perfect. Now what we're going to do, the probability is going to do Poisson distribution again, so equals Poisson distribution. Our x value is how much we the number we're trying to see if, let me explain this. So the probability in Poisson distribution is worked out as our x in the initial bit is the value we're going to try and predict the probability of them scoring that many goals. That is absolutely butchered. Let me explain. So we want to work out the probability of Forest scoring 0 goals. So our x is 0. Okay, but if we want that to be Forest scoring 5 goals, the x should be 5. Okay, that makes sense. So our x is 0. Our mean value is 1.24 from here, and we want it to be cumulative. So that was really badly explained, but it's quite hard to explain that quickly. Copy that all the way down, except actually, yeah, that's fine. The mean should change in there. Perfect. Do the exact same for Villa. So goes Poisson dist 0, but the mean this time is going to be these ones in here. And oopsies, and we want false in there. And copy that all the way down. But you can see here, Forest have never scored a goal in 16 to 30, and Villa have never conceded a goal in 31 to 45, which is kind of crazy. But back to what we were saying a minute ago. So now we've got our probabilities, right? But here's the cool thing. That means that therefore, the probability of a goal being scored is 1 minus the probability of 0 goals being scored, okay? But obviously we want to do it for the whole game. So I'm going to type in whole, well, both teams essentially, okay? So game, probability of 0 goals. So we're going to put in goals, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and we want period in there again. So we're going to copy that over here again, period. Oopsies. There you go, period. Which means we need. Let me copy that all. Copy that. Put that in there. Okie dokie. All right. Okay, that's my. Sorry, it's me being absolute numpty. It's because they're all formulas as opposed to actually them in there. That's fine. So we can just equal C2 because I've not actually written them as text. I'm just being lazy and done that. There you go. Perfect. And then one probability. No goal, and that just literally equals probability of no goals is probability of Forest not scoring and the probability of Villa not scoring, which just equals the probability of Forest not scoring times by the probability of Villa not scoring. There you go. Probability of no goal is 26.5%, and obviously then we can just copy that all the way down. There you go. So 31 to 45 really don't expect a goal in there. But now what we can do is probability of a goal happening is just 1 minus that, obviously. So that means that what we can start doing now is we can start to make a little table. So like the one in here, I'm just going to copy that over actually. See if we can keep it. Actually, we don't even need to. I'll do it by hand to show you. Make it look a little bit better than that actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our period in there, and we're going to have 0 to 15. 16 to 30, 40, 31 to 45, 46 to 60, 61 to 75, and 76 to 90 in there. Then what we're going to do is you want the probability of goal. Okay, it probably looks better. That one is kind of a bit easier to look at sometimes, but we can just format it in this way instead. And then clearly, this just equals 1 minus probability of no goal. There you go. Then what we can do is we can like make this look cool, so we can make this a table or whatever. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a bit of conditional formatting in there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy all of these. I'm going to do conditional formatting. We're going to do color scales, and obviously from best to worst. We can see the most probable time for a goal is this 0 to 15th. The least probable is 31 to 45, just off a pure glance at it. So that kind of looks a lot better than it did before. Then what we can do, if you really wanted to, you could do this, but I don't know if you want to do it or not. Just highlight all that in there, and then we're going to go to insert, and you can insert a recommended chart. So say, for example, this might make it easier. Like, I don't know if pie chart's kind of hard to read in there, but maybe like something like that. So we can see here really quickly, if we want to have a quick glance, probability of a goal in here, it's kind of obvious that the most obvious time is 0 to 15, then 46 to 60, and the least is 31 to 45, so we can see it a lot easier in there. So I hope that helps. Obviously, that was Forest versus Villa, so that was off a long while ago. But let's say if I can update this in here, so obviously the date's updating, but if I just go to, let's say we want England, and we'll select the league, we'll refresh the data in there. So now the data for the dashboard and the 50-minute period should update. Let me just see if that does it in there. Then if we can go and select the date, let's say we wanted to do yesterday, 10th of the 12th. The games, select the games. We had Tottenham versus Newcastle. If I open that up, the time period for the 15th last minutes, there you go, 64% in the last 15 minutes, which is what we got in there. If I do for Man City versus Luton, let's see if this is up to date. So if I open them side by side, so the finished spreadsheet is over here, and let's have a look. So 0.93, 0.87, obviously this is after the game, so it's marginally different, but 2.53, so they're roughly right. As I say, in fact, I've updated the data now, given this is the day after the game, it will be slightly wrong, but 15-minute periods, we have, let's have a look, 0. There you go, perfect. This one should be slightly higher because it was goals scored. There you go, perfect. I'm very, very happy with that. So there you go. That is from scratch how you can read in the data, and we can do it for any game we want to and get the probability of a goal being scored in the 15th minute periods of literally any game that we want to by just selecting the league and updating it in there and getting it in a good little format of all the time periods. Very easy to see in the table. I hope this helped. Quite a long video, a lot of me waffling, so I do apologize, but hopefully I walked you through step by step how we were going to do that, because it is a bit harder than it looks in there. Because, I mean, I have to really, really concentrate to remember exactly how I did it step by step without making any mistakes. So I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe. And if you want to check out any methods videos, check out any of these videos that you see on the screen here. Or want to see another tutorial, press the one at the bottom right corner. Thanks for watching.